When you think of a German Shepherd, what comes to mind? A brave police dog chasing down criminals? Loyal guardian protecting a family? A heroic soldier walking beside men in war? Strong, fearless, intelligent. The perfect dog. But here's the heartbreaking truth. Behind that majestic image is a life filled with pain, struggle, and suffering. Suffering that humans created. Yes, being a German Shepherd is far from the dream life most people imagine. In fact, it actually sucks. German Shepherds are one of the most popular dog breeds in the entire world. In America, they've ranked in the top 5 for decades. They're symbols of loyalty, intelligence, and strength. But what if I told you that this popularity is part of the reason for their misery? That the very traits we admire in them, strength, smarts, obedience, are also the traits that lead to their downfall. This is the tragic story of the German Shepherd, and today we're going to explore why it actually sucks. To be one, to the outside world, German Shepherds are superheroes in fur. They're seen in movies saving lives. In real life, they catch criminals, sniff out bombs, and guide the blind. But superheroes don't get a choice. Neither do German Shepherds. From the moment they're born, many are destined to become working dogs. For them, childhood doesn't mean toys and belly rubs, it means training, discipline, responsibility. By the time they're just a few months old, their path is already decided. Imagine being forced into a lifetime career at age 5. That's the reality for countless German Shepherds. Let's be honest. People love German Shepherds because they look tough, because they're smart, because they can protect, but with great popularity comes great exploitation. Backyard breeders, show dog competitions, mass breeding, all of it has created a genetic disaster. The result? A breed that looks powerful on the outside, but is falling apart on the inside. Picture this. You're a German Shepherd puppy. Everyone calls you adorable. You grow fast, stronger than most dogs, smarter too. You love your family. You'd give your life for them. But by the time you turn 5, your hips ache so much you can't even run. Every step feels like your bones are grinding together. The people around you still see you as their protector. But inside, you're breaking down, and you never asked for any of this. Humans made you this way. Over the next few chapters, we're going to uncover every reason why it sucks to be a German Shepherd. The painful history of how they were created. The cruel reality of their breeding. The health issues that plague almost every single one of them. The mental struggles that come from being too smart for your own good, and the emotional toll of serving humans without ever getting the life they truly deserve. By the end of this journey, you'll never look at a German Shepherd the same way again. You'll admire them, yes, but you'll also understand their pain. This is the story of loyalty, love, and tragedy. This is why it sucks to be a German Shepherd. Every story has a beginning. And for the German Shepherd, that story begins in Germany in the late 1800s. Back then, farmers and villagers needed dogs that could do it all. Herd sheep, guard property, protect families. They wanted intelligence, strength, and loyalty, all wrapped into one animal. But there was a problem. Every region in Germany had its own type of herding dog. Some were fast, some were strong, some were obedient, but none of them had it all. That's when a man named Max von Stephanitz came into the picture. A former cavalry captain. A man obsessed with the idea of creating the perfect working dog. In 1899, he found the dog that would change history, a wolf-like herding dog at a dog show. Strong body, sharp mind, obedient nature. Von Stephanitz bought him immediately and named him Horand von Grafrath. Horand wasn't just any dog, he became the father of the entire German Shepherd breed. From him, and a carefully controlled breeding program, the German Shepherd was born. Von Stephanitz had a simple philosophy. He believed a dog's worth wasn't in how it looked, but in what it could do. Utility, work, service. That was the purpose of the German Shepherd. At first, they were farm dogs, herding sheep, guarding flocks. But soon, they were noticed for something much bigger: their intelligence, their loyalty, their ability to be trained faster than almost any other breed. And that's when their destiny shifted. In the early 1900s, German Shepherds started being used by the police and the military. They weren't just herding sheep anymore. They were chasing criminals, guarding borders, even serving as messengers during war. During World War I, German Shepherds proved themselves as heroes. They carried supplies, they found wounded soldiers, they even stood watch on the front lines. Soldiers on both sides of the war were impressed by them, so much so that after the war, many German Shepherds were brought home to countries all over the world. That's how they exploded in popularity. In America, they quickly rose to fame. Hollywood gave us Rin Tin Tin and Strongheart, two German Shepherds that became movie stars in the 1920s. Suddenly, everyone wanted a German Shepherd. But with fame came problems. As the breed spread, two paths started to form. On one side, there were the working dogs, bred for strength, intelligence, and ability. On the other side, the show dogs, bred for appearance, for beauty, for the image of the perfect shepherd, and that's where things began to go wrong. Show breeders started exaggerating certain traits, most famously, the sloping back. In their eyes, it looked elegant. But in reality, it was the beginning of a lifetime of pain for these dogs. Still, the popularity kept climbing. By the mid-20th century, the German Shepherd had become one of the most recognized breeds on Earth. Police dog, war hero, family protector, movie star. The German Shepherd was everywhere, but popularity has a dark side. Demand skyrocketed, and backyard breeders rushed to cash in, breeding dogs without care for health, genetics, or temperament. The result? A breed that carried the weight of its own success. Bred too much, bred too fast, and bred for looks instead of strength. It's a tragic irony. Von Stephanitz's dream was a dog built for utility, for work, for health. But less than a century later, the breed had been twisted into something far different. Today, the German Shepherd is still one of the most admired dogs in the world. They stand beside police officers, soldiers, and families. They guard homes. They rescue lives. Their courage and loyalty remain unmatched. But behind all that history lies the truth. The very story that made them famous is also the story that doomed them, because without their popularity, without their fame, without their worldwide demand, they might have stayed strong, healthy, and capable. Instead, they became victims of human desire. The German Shepherd's history is a story of greatness, but also a warning, a reminder that when humans play with nature, even the strongest can be broken, and this is where their suffering truly begins. Not in the fields of Germany, not on the battlefields of Europe, but in the breeding rings and show competitions, where their bodies were reshaped and their future was stolen. This is how the curse of the German Shepherd began. They're not just dogs, they're heroes. At least, that's what the world sees. For over a century, the German Shepherd has been celebrated as the ultimate working dog. Fearless, loyal, intelligent, the perfect partner in every dangerous job. But being labeled a hero isn't always a blessing for the German Shepherd. It's a heavy curse. Think about it. When police officers go out on patrol, who walks beside them? When soldiers storm battlefields, who runs ahead? When a family fears for their safety, who do they trust most? The German Shepherd. They've been trained to catch criminals. 2. Sniff out bombs. To track missing children. 2. Take down suspects twice their size. To walk into danger without hesitation. It sounds impressive. But here's the truth. These dogs never had a choice. The police and military chose them for their intelligence, obedience, and strength. But that same obedience means they don't refuse orders, even if those orders put them in mortal danger. A German Shepherd won't hesitate to attack an armed suspect, to enter a burning building, to leap into gunfire. Why? Because their loyalty to humans is absolute. They don't question, they just do. And that loyalty often costs them their lives. During World War I and World War II, German Shepherds were used for everything, carrying messages, delivering supplies, guarding prisoners, even standing watch in deadly trenches. Many never made it back, and those that did carried the trauma of war, just like the soldiers they served beside. Yes, dogs can suffer from PTSD too, and German Shepherds, with their high intelligence and emotional sensitivity, are especially vulnerable. Even in peacetime, their burden doesn't end. In police forces around the world, German Shepherds are frontline fighters, trained to bite, to hold, to chase. They face knives, bullets, and brutality, while their human partners wear body armor. In some cities, the average service life of a police dog is less than 7 years. Many retire with injuries, some don't retire at all, and when they do retire, they often struggle to adjust. A lifetime of discipline and stress doesn't just disappear. They've been soldiers their entire lives, and suddenly, they're expected to be pets. But their hero complex doesn't stop at law enforcement or the military. Hollywood got involved too. In the 1920s, a German Shepherd named Rin Tin Tin became a superstar. Saved from a war zone, he went on to star in dozens of films. He was called the dog who saved Hollywood because his movies kept Warner Brothers afloat during hard times. Soon after, another shepherd, Strongheart, also rose to fame. Together, they made the breed famous worldwide. On the big screen, they were noble, fearless, virtuous, everything people wanted in a dog, and, once again, demand exploded. Everyone wanted their own Rin Tin Tin at home. But here's the cruel twist. The average family didn't realize what owning a German Shepherd actually meant. They didn't see the hours of training, the strict discipline, the enormous responsibility. They just saw the hero image, and thousands of dogs ended up in homes that couldn't handle them, or worse, abandoned in shelters. Then came the role of service dogs, guide dogs for the blind, assistance dogs for the disabled, search and rescue dogs in disasters. Once again, the German Shepherd became the chosen one. Why? Because of their intelligence, because of their obedience, because of their loyalty. But think about what that means for the dog. Imagine being responsible for your human's life every single day. If you fail, even once, it could mean disaster. That pressure, that constant responsibility, takes its toll. It's not just physical work, it's emotional labor. So let's ask the hard question. Do German Shepherds really want to be heroes? Or have humans forced them into that role? They never volunteered for the battlefield. They never asked to wear a police badge. They never signed up to guide the blind or to sniff out bombs or to star in movies. They do it because humans tell them to, and because their loyalty won't let them refuse. And that loyalty is exactly what makes their life so tragic. To the world, they are legends, the fearless police dog, the noble war hero, the Hollywood star, the loyal guardian. But when the spotlight fades, what's left? A tired body, a mind burdened with stress, a short life filled with sacrifice. That's the German Shepherd's curse. To be admired as a hero, but to live with the pain that heroism brings. The hero complex is both their greatest strength and their deepest suffering. It made them famous, it made them beloved, but it also trapped them in a life they never chose. And for many, that burden is too heavy to carry, because in the end, being a hero isn't always glorious. Sometimes, it just sucks.